No question.
Does she get half? Does that really make sense? Half of everything?
So there's no question of whether what you're saying makes sense. I think the difficult emotional battle, which you've probably done thousands of times, is putting a dollar value on what somebody brings to the table in a marriage. Like, what is the dollar value you're worth for raising our kid?
Yes.
That's a really difficult thing to do. It feels icky.
But it only feels icky for reasons that I think we could fix as a culture, and that is that why can't we be like, I'm a fan of honesty.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of just say a quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Like, you give me, like, because here's the problem. Here's the problem with modern marriage from a man's perspective, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Most of the marriages I know, okay, the man provides financially. He protects, right? He, he's also there to be part of the family dynamic, taking care of kids, doing the things that he can do. What does the woman bring? She brings love, affection, a little bit of sweetness at the end of the day, sex. She brings, taking care of kids. Okay. If you get divorced, every single thing on that side of the man equation, he can be compelled to do by the power of the state. And if he fails to do it, they can put him in jail.
Facts.
Nothing on that other side, the female side, is enforceable at law. The court cannot order her to be nice to you, to fuck you, to be a wonderful mother to your children. She can't. They can't force that. So
yeah, and that's where guys have an issue. Because even when a woman says she's unhappy in a relationship, you have to pay the bills. Like, a woman can be unhappy and be like, I'm not going to cook for you, I'm not going to do this, but she still expects you to pay the bills. If someone breaks into the house, she expects you to protect. So men are like, this is not fair. Because can you think of a scenario where a man can say, you know what, baby, I'm not happy because you didn't cook today, so for this next month, I'm not going to pay rent. For this next month, I'm not going to pay our electric bill. I'm not going to pay our water bill. They would be going crazy. They would be calling that guy crazy. So he's saying that the man, especially when he's going to talk about child support as well, how men are forced to, pay child support, and if they don't pay child support, they'll go to jail. You feel me? So most guys are like, this is not fair. Like, how come I'm forced to do these things, but my wife is not forced to do her duties?
So when you have a contract where only one side of it is enforceable with the power of the state and the other side is not, my attitude is, why don't we then just have an honest conversation about what we could both be afraid of and what value we want to attribute?
But the court can't force you to protect your wife, and the court can't force you to make money
economically,
for your
they
family.
can force you to. They can force you to protect somebody. You can, like, I've had cases where the court says, okay, this person needs a security detail. If it's a celebrity, they say these kids are going to need security for when they go to school, things like that.
But the average person, like, can the court say you have to work to a dad?
Well, what the courts say is Lincoln freed the slaves. Like, if you're a you know, if you're a, you know, if I didn't look old,
Like, I like Brad. You jumped right in on that.
nod to Lincoln, by the way. That's a lot of big ups.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What I'm saying, what I
Yeah, the dude in court.
Take a right on Reagan.
the dude in court.
Yeah, you said her pussy was like a bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
It's thicker than
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
So if your financial status at the moment you were getting divorced determined what your obligations were, everybody quit their fucking job the minute they were getting divorced.
Right.
So what the courts say is, like, if you're a brain surgeon who now I'm getting divorced, I decided I want to be a fucking yoga teacher.
Right.
The court goes, look, Lincoln freed the slaves. We can't make you be a brain surgeon. You're just going to be you're going to be a yoga teacher who has the financial obligations of a brain surgeon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, most guys don't think about that. Did you hear what he just said? So if I'm a man, right, and I get on child support or I'm getting a divorce and I'm making $100,000, and the judge says, hey, listen, you're making $100,000, you're going to pay $2,000 a month for child support. Apparently, even if I change a job on my own to make less money so I can pay less child support, the judge won't change my child support payment, because, you know, child support is based on income. But some guys may try to get a lower paying job so they can pay lower child support. The judge apparently will still force you to pay the same child support because they think you intentionally changed your job, you know, income so you can pay less.
So they impute an income to you.
Oh, really?
And they'll say, whatever you do for a living, it's fine. We can't force you to work, but we can give you financial obligations commensurate with your earning capacity, even if you're not earning at that capacity.
Wow.
Which is actually really
That's
fucked
fucked
up
up.
sometimes. Yeah. Like I had a client once who was an air traffic controller. And if you know anything about air traffic controllers, like you can have a high school education, be an air traffic controller, make like $300-400 grand a year.
Wow.
Like you can do really, really well. Well, this guy, his mother passed away. He was very close with her. He had a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression from it, and he had to go on medication, psychiatric medication, to like sort of deal with it. You're not allowed to be on benzodiazepines or certain psychiatric medications while you're in air traffic control, so he was terminated from his position. The next best job this guy could get, he made about 50 grand a year. But the court was like, no.
You still got to.
Your earning capacity is $350,000 a year. That's what you made. And we were like, Judge, what job can this guy get where he's going to make that amount of money? So it can sometimes, this is how guys end up in jail for not paying
So what'd he
support.
do?
It's not their fault.
So what'd he do?
He suffered, basically. Yeah. I mean, he had a very unfair child support award placed against him. He ended up in jail a couple of times. It was a really...
Because he was like selling drugs or something to make the money?
No,
or-
he just was not, he didn't pay his support. It's illegal to not pay child support. You can be put in jail.
But you
And that's where some guys are also choosing, you know what? I'm not having kids. You know what? I'm done having kids. I'm never having kids. The guys who have kids are like, I'm never having kids again. And the guys who don't have kids look at stories like this and they're like, you know what? Because there is no man who's going to watch this story and be like, you know what? I'm so excited. I can't wait to have kids. Now, any man who wants to have kids is going to watch a story like this, a video like this, and start thinking, is this really worth it? You know what I mean? Because another issue most guys have is even when you pay child support, there is no way to tell if the mother is really using that money on the kids. For example, I just saw Elon Musk is paying one of his baby mamas like $500,000 a month. $500,000 a month for one baby? Like which baby needs $500,000 a month? You see? So, because there's no way to track how the woman is using the money. So some guys are like, it's not fair. Because guys don't have an issue taking care of their babies, of their kids. But it's like, okay, I'm giving the woman all this money. But she's changing hair every week. She's buying new bags. She's out at brunch with her girlfriends. Like, Judge, I just need to see how she's spending the money. You know, we could use half of that money to save for the kids' college fund. You feel me? And then another thing is most guys have an issue with child support because I'm paying money, but I can't see my kids as often as I want to. I still need visitation requirements and stuff like that. So some guys are like, I'm done having kids.